Welcome to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. I am so thrilled that you are listening. This week, we are going to be diving into a lot of biohacking tech, almost a lot of red light therapy. And I am joined by Lindsay Kirby, who was, probably still is, a registered nurse, but she's turned health coach. And more importantly, she opened up a place called Sculpt Tri-Cities, which is basically a center that specializes in optimizing your health with the latest biohacking tech and services, which makes me wish I lived closer to you so I could come to your place. Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And we will have to make that happen.
Yes, I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about doing a drive down to California in the fall. And I'm like, how many biohacking people and places can I visit on the way? Because there's so much more there.
You have to do that. That would be an awesome, that could be each a show on its own. How fun.
Yeah, you're so right. So tell me about Sculpt Tri-Cities. Like what does a day-to-day look like when you're there?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That's probably my favorite kind of, I giggle at that question when I say I'm a registered nurse, but now I own a wellness center. People are like, oh, well, don't you miss being a nurse? I'm like, I didn't say I wasn't a nurse still.
Yeah.
But that's just the concept, right? Is traditional healthcare. And so, Sculpt Wellness, Sculpt Tri-Cities it truly is a biohacking center. In 2016, when I opened it, I learned pretty quickly. That's what I kept saying. It's biohacking. I'm bringing biohacking to Eastern Washington. Because I am the opposite of Seattle area, meaning it's the opposite corner of the Seattle area. So, a little more small town feel. And so we have all the cryotherapy. We have multiple types of saunas. We do have multiple red light therapy. In fact, my journey started with red light therapy. And so that's what's so near and dear to my heart. And we've just grown to offer now over 30 services, including now a full aesthetic division and then also a functional medicine, more medical side. So the daily life now for me is actually working on the business as we grow. We just opened our second location and wanting to bring it to, really my vision is franchising or just helping other people open their own center. I don't know what that journey will look like, but I just know how big that my vision is for that. So
that's awesome. So does the typical person come in, like once a month for treatments, or does it depend on kind of what they want to heal and what they like type of thing?
Yeah, it does depend. We are now into peptides, where if that can be more like once a month checking in with the nurse practitioner, especially if they're doing like our weight loss program, which has been really successful. But we definitely encourage, it's like, well, if you're coming in for weight loss, once a month when you're doing your check-in with our practitioner, this is how cryotherapy, it's like you're here. It takes 8 minutes by the time you undress, get in cryo and get out. So we do definitely encourage that everything works synergistically together.
Nice.
So we do have a membership, and that's really what we encourage. No matter the reason they're coming to us, is to look at it at that way, or in that perspective that just like working out, you don't get to get into shape and never work out again. And wellness is no different, right? So yes, it is more of we are like family, very down to earth. We want to see you regularly. We know you, joke with our clients. It is like a family feel and that laid back, down to earth type of environment.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like if I was going to go to some sort of center like this, like I would want a program and a membership, and because then I think it just kind of goes into autopilot. Then I don't have to think about it anymore. And I'm like, okay, once a month I come in, we're working on fertility or hormones or whatever it is. And we're going to do these 3 different healing modalities once a month. And that's it. And then I don't have to think about it. And I think that's a really smart way to look at it.
It is. It's also fun because, wellness is, there's always just your life changes and the stressors that you're going through. So you can come to us because let's say you have an athletic injury or arthritis, and you start to feel better. So we don't see you as often, but then hormones, life, things change so that you come back. So it's been really fun now that we're going into almost our 7th year, that journey with clients that sometimes we won't see them for 2 years. And then all of a sudden they're back. Like, this is what's new. This is what's different. What do I do with this, that's going on? So it is beautiful. That's probably my favorite part, is those relationships with the journey. In fact, our logo, that's what our icon logo is meant to look like. Because that's what it is. It is ongoing. You never arrive at wellness, right? You're always working on something.
Yeah. I was actually just saying that yesterday when I was being interviewed, and I was explaining the idea of like optimal health. And I was saying that it's actually not a destination, because like you're never going to be at a point where everything about you is optimal. Like skin, sleep, stress management, hormones, weight, like there's always something that is like just not, I don't want to use the word perfect, but not what you might want it to be. And so it's kind of a journey, and it's kind of frustrating, but honestly, it's kind of nice as well, I guess.
It is. It can be frustrating for clients, but having that conversation and helping them. I mean, we come from an era I think we're coming out of, and we'll look back on that, diet and exercise alone, and you just try to get into a perfect shape with one diet or one workout routine type thing. We're just coming out of that. And we do have to have that discussion with clients, because that is a mindset that was really pushed in our society, in the Biggest Loser era, So there's a lot of psychology behind that, but it's cool to see actually that really shifting with the consumers and people that would never know the word biohacker, but they're seeking feeling better outside of what traditional healthcare is providing, because people are realizing that's not making them feel the best that they want to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely think diet and exercise do not do enough. I think they're pillars of your health, of course. And I think they're so important. But I know in my own healing journey, when I've healed gut issues and hormone issues and my menstrual cycle and stuff like this, like you can't just do those two things and expect results. Like there's so much more to look at. And so when clients come into you or like come into the center, do they feel overwhelmed and kind of like, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start with any of this type of stuff?
Most often, yes. Unless they directly are my sister said I had to come here, which happens too. But most of the time, yes, we hear that, especially, and that's even for us has been almost a challenge as we've brought on. It started with just red light to now have over 30 options for people. Is how do we keep it focused on the experience that you need to experience right now to feel better? And for them not feeling overwhelmed about knowing how to use all the things that we have in our center, right? So that's why we really try to make it very inviting of just come in and start the conversation, because it is overwhelming. And even just red light therapy alone, it's amazing to just Google nowadays, just even red light and how much overwhelm there is about, why this one versus that one. And there's just a lot. We're in information overload. And so bringing it back to that personalization is more critical than ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really love that you said that. And I definitely do want to dive into red light. So it's cool that you started this center based off of that. And obviously, like you've added a bunch of other things. But for red light, for you personally, like what have you seen on your healing journey that it was able to really help you with?
Oh, wow. So many things. And I hug my heart when I talk about red light, because I discovered it during the time when I was wearing myself down, trying to be so perfect and so regimented. I was actually thinking that I wanted to do bikini competitions. And so I was essentially, if I wasn't being perfect, I was beating myself up, right? And so for the not hitting my macros and not working out twice a day and all these, and I was in comparing syndrome, and I was in my early 30s at that time. And I actually was traveling and came across my friend had opened the center with these sculpting He called them lipolites. And I just was there to talk. I was traveling for like a nutrition company on the side as being a labor and delivery nurse. And so I was actually in Tennessee, and he was like, I got to show you these. And so I went and I did a session with these red light paddles that he's like, where do you want to put them? It can smooth and release body fat and help the skin. And I was like, wait, what? And I was pretty skeptical, and I did do just one session because I was traveling, and I put the red lights all around my thighs because no matter how much I worked out, I still had a lot of texture and lumpiness on my thighs. It drove me crazy. And I was really self-conscious about it. I remember I only did the one session, but I was extremely lean at the time too, but I had been traveling, and I remember getting home and it was summer, and I went to put on my shorts to go play volleyball, and there was like you just know your body, and it's like that one lump that drives you nuts. I went to put on my shorts, and it was like they fit differently and they were more smooth. And so red light for me became this intrigue. It started with this, what do you mean that you can take a light and put it on your body, and it can essentially get your body to do the work to make the skin and the texture better? It was just so intriguing to me, not only as a nurse, but as a selfish, striving so hard to be essentially perfect in a bikini at the time person. Then I just started to really, for me, it became an obsession of wanting that treatment near me but also I was in the journey of knowing I wasn't in alignment with the traditional healthcare system anymore. Not only as at the time, a single mother that literally was not able to be told that I had to work the night shifts and the holidays and the weekends, and transitioning to that with 3 little kids, but also just my beliefs and values about wellness. So for me, it kind of turned into I just saw it as a way to help people. So that's how I launched Sculpt Tri-Cities. I went and I actually ended up getting that machine from him because he decided to not do that anymore there. And so I brought it to the Tri-Cities and opened with zero business background, no idea what I was doing in business, but just with this heart of feeling like I know that struggle of eating so well and trying to work out and still having trouble areas. And so, but what I started to see is that because you need to do red light consistently, right? It's not a one and done. Like I noticed that in my body because I was extremely self-aware, but most people in one session aren't going to notice that. And so as I started to have clients come in our community, and they would do the red light 2 to 3 times a week for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, they started to report things like they felt more calm. They felt a little bit happier. So even though they were putting the lights on a place they wanted to release body fat, their stomach skin was looking beautiful. Like the tone and texture and evenness of their skin was looking gorgeous. And remember, this is also in 2016. There wasn't red light therapy all over Amazon then. Like This was crazy witchcraft read in 2016. And so yeah, I right away, just the observations and the subjective things I was hearing started to really just, for me, I saw that membership model because I was like, I don't want to sell this as just a beauty thing where you do it for 4 weeks and then buy. Like, I want them to keep coming and having that 20 minutes of happier time and taking the time for themselves. There was something big there that I was noticing, that I think that for people to come in and relax for 20 minutes, because when they did our session, we required that they had to put their phones away and they had to essentially decompress and lay there and relax for 20 minutes and listen to Brain Tap, which is essentially, if you don't know how, it's like guided meditation or subconscious training. So that really, just that full wellness circle of mind, health, de-stressing, taking time for yourself, breathing a little bit, putting your phone away. It all just gave me a vision that was completely different than that just wanting to fit better in my shorts.
Yeah, I really love that. And I think it's really cool that you hopped onto the red light therapy train before most people did, for sure. And even like the biohacking movement in general, like right now compared to what it was 5 years ago, it's vastly different. Like
So much.
yeah, like I started my Instagram account, biohacking Brittany in 2018. And I remember at that time, I think there was like 200,000 posts on Instagram for the word biohacking. And now I think there's like 1 million. And obviously it's grown, and that's just like one aspect, but I think that's really, really cool. And I have quite a few red light therapy devices myself, I will say. So I'm curious. So people come in, and obviously you're really great at educating people and helping people understand the benefits and really what it can do for them. But I'm curious of like, what is the most common concern people come to you with when they want to do red light therapy, or what is it that you prescribe it for?
Well, we definitely still do use it for that skin improvement and evening out. It's such a healing, clarifying, soothing light. I think of red light as just almost, that's what I always say. It's very calming and soothing, and it definitely evens and improves skin tone, texture, and the clarity of skin, no matter where on your body. And so usually clients, the number one thing is the fact that they need to do it consistently. People wish it, and I think that's also, as consumers are understanding that more and more, and we have less of that wanting it to be one and done. So just really explaining to people that really it's their body doing the work. And probably the number one obstacle for us to overcome is the mindset of someone that thinks, I did the treatment today, I should see the results now from the one treatment, right? And the really red light is a compound effect, that it is something that is so beautifully harnessing just the good parts of that red light spectrum without being exposed to the bad parts of the sun, like the UV or getting too hot and damaging cells. But what's happening is your body is doing the work. So the skin that you see now was actually created weeks ago or days ago. And so we just have to educate clients on that. And I think as consumers, I'm no different. There's so many, as a biohacker, like I can't even imagine the things that I've bought and put in a closet and never used. But that would be the main thing for consumers with red light, is understanding that there is consistency needed, because it is so gentle and so soothing. Every time you use it, you're promoting cellular function, and you're getting that cell to make better collagen and elastin and all the things that are going to give you better skin, or to heal and even out that skin tone. But we can't, just like we're talking about, we don't arrive at wellness. We also don't arrive with the same skin every day. We're constantly replacing our skin. So that's why you do want consistency in exposing whatever area you're wanting to heal or look better from a light. You just want to continually do that in a very, not daily, but just at least weekly, I would say, fashion.
So if you are looking to use it on your face, and like maybe you have like fine lines and wrinkles or spots or acne, whatever it might be, what would you like say in terms of how long people should use it for and how frequently?
Well, number one rule is always to go off of whatever device you have, their recommendations, because there's a wide range of spectrum of red light, and these manufacturers are harnessing it in very specific ways, and it depends on what range of wavelengths and what else is partnered in there. There's a lot of combining, which is great. Like that's awesome for biohacking. Like we like to stack everything. If I'm going to do something for 20 minutes and you can put red light and infrared in there, do it, give me all the things. Right. So because of that, and so many devices combining more than just light, and they're adding infrared or other things to it, or maybe even heat if you're in a traditional sauna with red light, really to go by whatever that manufacturer recommends. And I just highly, highly recommend from also, I've bought I probably have 15 red light devices. And yeah, and you really can be buying Christmas lights and wasting your money.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, you just, because I have seen red light work and I know my devices, that I've seen my skin change. I mean, at the time in that 2016, when I was working out and eating so restricted, I had full blown acne, and red light completely helped my skin turn the corner. And I don't even have barely even blackheads anymore. So it improved my it tightened up my pores, it evened out my skin tone, it helped me recover from melasma, because it's such a healing and inflammatory reducing light. But I've tried the really affordable, I hate to use the word cheap, but cheap masks on Amazon, and I'm just personally not a fan. And it makes me worried for the consumer, where they're being produced, what kind of the safety and efficacy of them, and they're not tested. And I see a lot of misleading labels being used for marketing purposes, like FDA registered, which the consumer wouldn't know. FDA registered only means that you've been cleared by the government to sell an electronic device in the US. That has nothing to do with the product or what it's doing for your body. So there's enough really great, been around for a long time, light devices on the market, that personally, if I was going to spend the money for home use, I would go with probably spending a little bit more, but a company that has some type of FDA clearance for an actual outcome that's health related.
So I don't know if you can share, but I'm super curious which ones you would recommend in terms of some sort of face light.
Yes, I actually love the company Zero Gravity, because their technology is FDA cleared for pain relief, which means they spend a lot of money making sure their device is going to be safe and tested, and actually has been shown to, the light and the spectrum that they're using was proven to have a beneficial outcome. And if it's doing that for pain, that means it's going down through that dermis. And they also have the infrared in there, the near infrared in some of their devices. It is a more expensive device. It's probably one of the most expensive devices on the market. So I also love, more mid-level, is Saluma. I actually was probably one of the wellness centers that took way too, I actually didn't bring in Saluma as fast as I should have, looking back now. And I regret that, because we brought it on and our clients experience pain relief. They experience acne decretion, less acne, but the pain relief setting on that is probably my favorite, because it's so rewarding knowing that someone could come in and say, I have this horrible knot in my shoulder, or I got a kink in my shoulder, I slept wrong, or arthritis, or athletic injury. And we can put that Saluma, and I love how you can wrap it around the area that you want to get to. So what's cool is you can use it for your anti-aging facial, but if you get hurt, you can take it and wrap it around your ankle if you sprain your ankle. So it's multifaceted that way. And so the value is increased when you can use it for all these multiple things. You can use Saluma for acne, pain. They have a hair one that's FDA actually cleared for hair regeneration. So I really do love that device, as far as you can find those in centers. If you don't want to buy your own, and a lot of centers will rent those to people, if you want to just try it for a while. I know that some places, and that's something to look into, not just Saluma, but I know there's other ones, a wellness center you can find near you, and ask if they rent these devices that require that 2 to 4 times a week. Sometimes you can find them and they'll rent them to you and you can take them home. So those are my go-to ones.
Are you tired of feeling out of sync with your body's natural rhythm? Do you struggle with menstrual cycle related issues like fatigue, mood swings, and bloating? If you're looking to optimize your health and well-being, look no further than the Ebb and Flow Cycle Guide. This comprehensive guide is designed to help you better understand and work with your menstrual cycle so you can improve your energy levels, reduce PMS symptoms, and gain a deeper understanding of your body. With in-depth information on each phase of the menstrual cycle, you'll learn how to adjust your diet exercise routine, and self-care practices to better align with your body's needs. One of the biggest benefits of the Ebb and Flow Cycle Guide is its user-friendly format. The guide is easy to follow and provides clear instructions on how to optimize your health throughout each phase of your cycle. Plus, it's packed with valuable information and insights that you won't find anywhere else. So whether you're a seasoned biohacker or you're just starting out, the Ebb and Flow Cycle Guide is the perfect tool to help you optimize your health and live in harmony with your body's natural rhythm. And with my expertise and guidance, you can trust that you're getting the best information and advice available. So why wait? Head over to biohackingbrittany.com to get your copy of the Ebb and Flow Cycle Guide and start living your best life today. I actually really appreciate that because I don't know either of those brands. And I'm actually very surprised by the brands that you recommended because I just figured like she's going to say brands that I know. And so I really appreciate that. And I'm going to look into both of those because like I told you, I have multiple devices that have been sent to me. And now I kind of question how great they are. And yes, it's like obviously nice to have things sent to you. But at the same time, I don't want to be putting light on me that I don't think is actually effective or is really going to do anything. Like it's kind of a waste. And I also don't want to support companies like that and make recommendations to other people of these devices if they're not great.
And understanding the science is so important. The consumer doesn't need to understand the science, but what they do need to understand is this is a bandwagon that companies and manufacturers, it's an easy sell, right? And so I was really shocked by probably one of the most popular brands, and it's a panel, but they keep alluding to on their website that they are medical grade. And I was like, well, where is this? Like, because I was looking into them for even my own house. And I was like, medical grade. And I finally found where the medical grade was, and it's their power outlet.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, but I had to dig and I had to figure that out, but at hindsight, like just first glance, they're talking about all the benefits of red light and that this is a medical grade device, but they're talking about, when you really dig down to it, they're talking about their power outlet. It's medical grade for them.
That's wild. The device that I have, in full transparency here, the device that I have sitting on my desk right now is a company called Kinon.
I'm not familiar with that.
Kineon, like Kineon.
Isn't that Ben Greenfield's company?
No, that's Kion. That's like supplements.
Gotcha.
This is like, kind of spelled similar now that I'm actually looking at it. But they connect into this strap and you can basically strap it on all different types of like muscles and joints on your body. But I do like them, but I'm going to look into what you were talking about in terms of the clearance and how certified these companies really are. And it's like this with a lot of things we see in the wellness industry, like supplements, food, any type of trends. And then companies just hop on board and they make a lower quality product and then they sell it. And I really despise that. So I get it.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm a sucker too. And I get excited, but then you have to have that filter, especially when it comes, for me, I feel responsible because it's probably the most common question I get asked right now is what is my favorite red light? And usually the follow-up question when I send them those 2 referrals is, oh gosh, well, I really wanted to just get this one that was $120 off Amazon. I'm like, you can totally do that. Like, I'm not saying it's going to actually harm you, but they also, we don't know if it is or isn't either, and actually for me as well, it's kind of like, certain things that you invest in. It's like cheaper might be also just a waste of your money and you're wasting your time. Like I said, like if you're buying a quote more affordable mask and laying there or putting it on for 20 minutes, you're getting no actual real benefit. You're also wasting your time. In 20 minutes to me, it better be working.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Higher Dose? Do you know that company?
Yeah. And I actually don't know I haven't looked into their like clearances or anything like that, but I've always heard great things about them. And that is a mask that I get asked about a lot. So I probably should look into that, because they have really done a great job, and they're really bringing biohacking to just such a great spread of the different type of consumers and the young, especially females. I think they have that great sex appeal going on, which is great because it's getting people more aware. I just have no knowledge of the type of technology they have.
Yeah, I have their face mask and I like it quite a bit. So I'd be very curious to hear your expert opinion on it. And I use it, depends on how things are going, but either daily or every other day for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I think is good. But yeah.
I would say they seem like a very legitimate company. And from afar, it seems like the foundation of that company is about being ethical. And so just intuitively, I would trust them. I also love the fact that if you feel like you like it, then I feel like there's something to that as well. I always, trust that feeling. So yeah, what concerns me is just red light is you should be able to hug your light. It's a soothing light. And so the concept of having something being stronger and blaring, and it's too hot if you touch it, that actually concerns me, because red light, there's the science and physics of red light is that every time you go, like you increase the distance. So let's say you just even increase the distance by 1 centimeter that you're away from the light, you're losing 4 times the amount of the ability to absorb that. So if they have to put more and more power into it to the point that it's so powerful you can't sit there and hold your hand on it, or else you would get a burn, that just makes me feel like the physics of it isn't really working that great of what it could. Like the fact that you can put the mask on and it's soothing, that's good. That's how it should be, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion from use and 7 years of thousands of people. I actually meant to do it, but I think we're at over 10,000 red light treatments provided. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, that is crazy. And that's a really good point. Like it should never burn you or be too hot. And it's definitely a red flag if that is happening, which I have not experienced with the products that I have. I'm curious if you've ever looked into red light therapy for ovarian function / like egg function for females.
Only that it's on my radar that they are studying it for fertility. And it makes sense to me because red light, I'm just curious how are they going to get it to the ovaries? Because red light only goes through down to the dermis, which is why it's so amazing for skin. But essentially low light therapy, which can be the blue, the red, near infrared. What's so cool about it and so intriguing, and I think there's going to be so much to come out, is that you're bringing all the good things, but you're not delivering any bad with it. So it's not changing the cell. It's essentially just getting the cell to work better and kind of energizing it. So a cell that's not performing well, it's like giving it
a boost,
an energy boost, like a Red Bull for your cells, a healthy Red Bull for your cells. And so it makes sense to me because it also helps detoxification. And this is probably where I can see them studying it, is it increases microcirculation. So with all of that, like if you're helping detox, improving the circulation, reducing inflammation, attracting anti-inflammation responses, healing and creating better tissue. I mean, all of that I can see that's like ovaries, fallopian tubes, like that. And I don't know how they're studying it though. It's on my radar that's coming.
Interesting. Yeah, I asked because I'm in this like preconception stage right now, and I have like irregular cycles and I've had cysts on my ovaries and these different things. And I started using red light therapy on my ovaries, I think like back in October or even last year before that. And it's actually helped a lot. And yeah, and even like last month, I had a cyst burst, which I don't know if you've ever had that, but it's quite painful. And so I take my red light therapy device and I put it on my ovaries for about 20 minutes a day. And it really reduces the pain. Like it actually reduces the pain, because for all the women listening who've ever had a cyst issue, like, you can suddenly feel your ovaries where day to day you can't, right? Like there's no nerves, like you typically can't. But when something happens and you can. And so it just like really, really made a difference. And so I'm so curious when we're talking about these things and when you kind of connect the dots, like red light therapy is so significant for mitochondria. And the eggs are the most mitochondria dense organs in the body for females and males. It's like something like 100,000 mitochondria per cell. And so it makes sense. Like if we can get the light there, that it would be a healing modality for all women, regardless of what's going on, because they're so mitochondria dense in the ovaries.
Absolutely. That's so cool. And I'm so glad it helps you. Is it like a panel that you're putting in and you're resting it directly on your abdomen? Now I'm like really curious, like how you're doing that.
So the panels, I do have a couple of panels. They're too heavy and like clunky, so it doesn't really work. But the one device that I have is this one I mentioned earlier, like Kinneon or Kinneon. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But it's basically like little lights and it can go in a strap. And I just like line them up on my ovaries and like where the sensation is. And obviously like you don't have any clothes on because it's just not possible. And I honestly sit and work at my desk with red lights on my ovaries.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. It's so easy. So
yeah. And you hear about, for, men, being encouraged to do that, like have no underwear on and get some exposure for 8 to 10 minutes, with that red light. And it makes sense. And I am curious if there is some near infrared, which is, you can't see it, but it's so often paired with light therapy and devices. So I'm really actually curious if there's infrared, some near wavelengths in that panel. But I do love, and actually I'm going to check out that company. It reminds me of, I have one as well that's Therasage.
Yes, I've heard of them. Yeah.
It's very great, affordable. The heart of the company is, it's just amazing. He's doing it to help people. His story is that he was doing it to help his own daughter. And I do love that panel. And you know what's funny is that every time it's like a black, really soft, you can bend it, put it wherever, just square panel of red lights. Every time I turn that on, my dog steals it from me. Dogs love, I don't know if you have any pets, but animals
I do.
love red light. Love it.
Absolutely.
Like they know, but she will steal that. My little Yorkie poo just essentially takes it from me. She'll like try to nudge me off of it, and then she'll end up taking a nap on it. It's the cutest thing, but she just loves it.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. Yeah, I've taken my devices. I also have one called the Flex Beam, and I have put it on my dog, my golden retriever, and he loves it as well. So it is really funny to see how animals react to it.
And that's always a good sign, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is a really good sign. And I think if they stay away from something and they won't come near it, I think that's also a sign.
So we should pay attention to that.
Yes, that's awesome. So in terms of your daily routine, I don't want to go into general health. I want to hear, do you have any biohacking tech or red light therapy that is I have to do this every single day because I know how helpful this is?
Yeah, it's funny. It really is the zero gravity red light wand for me. There is something that it's just I cannot live without it. It depuffs my face, but I also just feel more perked up. And I travel with it. I will not travel without that thing.
Which one do you have? Sorry, I'm just looking at their website.
Perfectio X. Yeah. And I felt I can't, I was wow, this is a big investment. I can't, but I was well, I have all these other ones. And I just know that for me, and I have about 10 red light devices in my house, that is the one that I just cannot live without. I will also travel with my Saluma, and Saluma has helped me so much I've had a history of kidney stones, and that pain relief session directly up against my back has made it tolerable. And I would actually finally fall asleep with that on my back during kidney stones. So that, and then, Yeah, I just, on the daily, as far as biohacking, this is a whole out of left field probably, but ozone.
Okay.
I also just, my body tells me when I haven't done my ozone in about 3 days, and I do it at home by rectal insufflation, which if the listeners thinking this was like a beauty and I'm talking about rectal insufflation now, I'm so sorry. But but we are biohackers, so that's what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to you all the time too, so I know your listeners probably just like us. It's like, cool, go there, please,
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, ozone has been amazing for my reducing inflammation. I have a lot of inflammatory tendencies. I don't detox very well. So infrared sauna for me is really important. It's also one that I'll feel better. And so I'll stop doing it because I don't want to stop to take the time. But probably, yeah, my body screams at me when I don't do it. Yeah, I fell in love with it. Ozone has been amazing.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. That's really great. And I'm so curious. I'm just looking at this zero gravity website. Do these have the two types of light that you were talking about, near infrared and far infrared, in the device?
They have near infrared, and the one that I have, the Perfectio X, there is some infrared, the near infrared, which is the shorter, no, now I'm like backwards, but you can't see it, but it doesn't create heat. But it does get nice and warm naturally. And then it has the red light. And I think their spectrum is around 650-ish.
Nice. Okay.
But what's really nice is it has a glass head. And so it is able to glide over serums or bare skin. But I know that there's something about it also the way it's delivered.
Yeah, it says it's red and infrared LED light therapy device. So that makes sense for sure. Yeah.
And I fell in love with that thing and I can't live without it.
Oh, I might order one after this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to the point that I've been hounding them and I finally am working with, I have sent so many people and so I think I will be able to help people get maybe even like a discount code or something like that. So let me know if you are serious, because it's an investment, but it's just like that best pair of jeans that you were like, I can't believe I'm spending so much money on jeans, but you end up wearing them for 5 years and they're your go-to. It's like that. And I've seen the difference. Like before photo shoots, I'll use it. And my makeup artists are always blown away at how it depuffs your eyes. Like it's gorgeous. It's really cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I will definitely link that in the show notes. The one that you have is $8,000, but I do see that they have a bunch of different ones here. And I'll also link this Saluma and the Kenyon, whatever, the one that I use.
I know, it sounds like I'm going to be buying another one now.
Yeah, just so people can have a variety and take a look.
Yes.
I do think when it comes to tech like this, I do think the investment is definitely worth it compared to buying cheap versions on Amazon. I 100% agree with that. The quality is really there when you spend the money and it can be worth it. Like the devices I've already had them for a couple of years. Like it's not like it's something that you're going to replace every year at all.
No. And Saluma, I know that Saluma and Zero Gravity both have, if it breaks, they'll fix it, essentially lifetime warranties. Yeah. And Saluma is so flexible. That's really cool as well. And I love that you can use it for all those different things that we mentioned. And travel, because they're so sturdy and flexible.
Eliminate guesswork from your wellness plan with Inside Tracker. Created by experts from Harvard and MIT, Inside Tracker uses the power of your body's biomarker data to reveal what you need to live longer. You'll receive specific nutrition, exercise, supplement, and lifestyle recommendations, providing insight that goes well beyond what you can get from generic blood work. And since May is Women's Health Month, Inside Tracker is unveiling an upgraded ultimate plan that includes 3 new hormone markers that are critical to measure during a woman's reproductive and menopausal years. And because it is Women's Health Month, Inside Tracker is not charging for these 3 new hormone markers. Only for May, though. For a limited time, Biohacking with Brittany listeners can get 20% off Inside Tracker's new ultimate plan, which includes the estradiol, progesterone, and TSH biomarkers, which are the new ones that have been added. With Inside Tracker, discovering what your body needs is no longer a guessing game. Visit insidetracker.com/biohackingbritney to get 20% off. That's insidetracker.com/biohackingbritney to get 20% off today. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I know it's important for you. Yeah.
Yes. This is like a side note as we wrap up here, but are you going to the biohacking conference at the end of June?
I am. In fact,
Nice.
this morning I was starting to look at tickets, plane tickets.
Oh my gosh. Nice. I am going as well.
Oh, I can't wait to see you in person. Have you been before? I'm sure you have.
No, I haven't actually. Have you?
My gosh. This will be my 3rd year.
Wow. Wow.
Officially a groupie at this point.
Yes. Yeah. It was a little tough for a while traveling with COVID and getting into the States and stuff. But now, I'm really excited. I booked my flights and I have no idea what to expect, to be honest, but I think it's going to be fun.
It's so fun. The hard part is deciding how you're going to get all the fun tech room in and listen to speakers, because there's just so much. He does a great job. And now it's even more, there's more like socializing, fun dance parties. Like, it's really fun in such a like-minded community. Like last year it was so much fun.
I can't wait. Yeah, I honestly can't wait, just because it would be so nice to have more biohacking friends in person than online.
Oh, you'll find them there. Yeah. I've made lifelong friends by standing in line to get coffee and just starting to talk to someone. Yeah.
I love
Super
that.
cool. You can fill up your whole podcast schedule for a year, probably, just with all the everyone there.
I was like, okay, I guess I got to get business cards, because even though they're so old school, like when you go to an event like this, how else do you quickly get someone's phone number? Like, yeah, you whip out your phone, but I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I'm networking conference queen. I'll fill you in on some quick tips when we get there. It's taken me a long time to figure that out, because you can scan someone's card, you can take their business card, but when you go to think of them and what you need, you're not going to remember their name or their business name, right? So quick tip is you add them into your phone real quick, but in the company, like it's first name, last name, and then company, put biohacking conference does ozone.
Like a note. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, what was that person that did ozone? I met him at the biohack. You can go in your phone into contacts and search biohacking ozone, and then their name will come up.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. Actually, that is a really good idea with the name cards, business cards as well, is to actually have a QR code on there to scan, and then it adds you as a contact. Wow, I wonder how you would do that. I'm going to write that down.
Canva, you can make, if it's a link, you can make it a QR code in Canva now.
Yeah, I use Canva a lot because that's so smart. Anyway, lots to think about. Yeah. Well, if people want to connect with you and they want to come to your center, how can they do that?
I think the best thing would be to go to Instagram and follow me. It's Mrs. MRS Lindsay, Lindsay, Kirby, Kirby. So Mrs. Lindsay Kirby on Instagram is the really best. I'm really responsive to even DMs on there. And then I have a link tree, which sounds like not that cool, but an old school, but I'm so updated. But we have our Sculpt Wellness link right there. The co-authored book I just wrote, which my chapter was Owning Your Vanity and How It Can Improve Your Health, is there. And I also am going to pop up if anybody wants to do a quick coffee chat. What do I recommend? I've probably spent millions of dollars on biohacking stuff. So I love to make referrals or connect you to the person that can help you too. And we love to have people come travel and see us now. I mean, you can come spend a weekend with us and we can biohack you head to toe.
Oh, I would love that. My geography is so bad. Like, how close are you to the West Coast?
Yeah, only about 4.5 hours to the coast. Well, maybe 5 to the actual coast, but only about 4.5, maybe even 4 on a good day to Seattle.
Yeah, because like I said, we're going to do a bit of a road trip in the fall. So maybe I will come your way as part of our stop.
Yeah. And if anyone is serious about that, and they mention this podcast, like I would definitely do a really fun discount for someone to come just we do like brain refuel protocols. We have essentially it all. I mean, we're a full service wellness center. So
I love that. You make me want to open my own.
maybe you will. Yeah, I'll help you.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's my passion.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This was great. And I will put all of the links to all the products and your center and everything in the show notes and on my website.
Thank you so much for having me. It means a lot. It was great to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you in June.
I know. Me too. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. If you're interested in finding the show notes or the sponsors for this episode, you can do so on my website, which is biohackingbrittany.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active. My handle is @biohackingbrittany. And if you're interested in working together and you want to email me directly, you can do that. My email is info@biohackingbrittany.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and having you tune in next week.